Everyone stand. The Sullivan County Commission meeting is now in session. You may be seated.
I'd like to invite everyone to remain standing through the end of the pledge. Thank you, Deputy Lovegrove, and welcome everyone to the meeting of the Sullivan County Commission, June 18, 2026. First, I'd like to recognize Commissioner Larry Crawford for our invocation.
Let's bow for prayer, please. Heavenly Father, we are so grateful for the rain that you've sent to us, much needed rain. We give you thanks for that. You know our need before we even ask. And we thank you for taking care of those matters that unconsciously we are unaware of at times. Bless this time that we have together and the decisions we make, may it be for the betterment of our community and all of those we serve. Be with those that are sick and afflicted and suffering this hour. Care for them and heal them if it's your good will. In Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Commissioner Aker, would you lead us in the pledge?
Attention, salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
When the board opens, please record your presence. Has every member recorded their presence? Madam Clerk.
19 present, 5 absent.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We have a quorum. The June 2026 meeting of the Sullivan County Commission is in session. Our first order is approval of notaries. Madam Clerk, we have a list of notaries.
Vicki Armstrong, Tara Arnett, Melanie Bean, Sherry Bingham, Cheyenne Bowling, Elizabeth Ann Chico, Edward Oswald Claudette, Megan Valeria Cordoza, Judy A. Douglas, Brianna Ferris, Misty Michelle Fisher, Robin Free, Anna Christine Harden, Antonia Rebecca Hardman, Chloe Marissa Hatfield, Julian Hernandez, Ashley Hicks, April M. Hicks, Amy Hinkle Easterling, Daniel Brian Hobbs, David D. Hyde, Catherine Janelle, Seth Johnson, Ginger Kirkpatrick, Matthew James Larkins, Caitlin L. Light, Samuel Lesuin Jr., Anita Matera, Tracy Mercer, Jordan Isaac Hall, Ashley Quill, C. Christopher Raines III, Sheila Saru, Christy L. Schaefer, John Paul Sheets Jr., Brenda M. Sherby, Carrie Ann Carolyn Stefano, Melissa Stevens, Angela Nicole Stout, Charles Everett Suchman Jr., Suzanne Lynn Suchman, Benjamin Taylor,
Abigail Workman, Michael D. Wilson Jr., Lakin Star Wilson, Paul Wingfield, Maureen Yoder. And we had one added at the very last minute we didn't get on the list. Sarah, do you have her name?
Ashley Elizabeth Britt.
Ashley Elizabeth Britt.
You've heard the list of notaries. Is there any discussion on the list of notaries as presented?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cole, second by Commissioner Cross. Any discussion on the list of notaries as presented? Seeing none, without objection, when the board opens, please cast your vote on the approval of notaries public requiring 13 votes for passage. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk.
20 yes, 4 absent.
Having received the necessary majority of the votes cast, notaries are approved. Next order, approval of minutes of Board of Commissioners of Sullivan County's May 14th, 2026 rezoning hearing and work session, May 21st, 2026 monthly meeting.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Crawford, second by Commissioner Hopper. Is there any further discussion on the minutes as presented? Seeing none, without objection, when the board opens, please cast your votes on the approval of minutes requiring 13 votes for passage. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk.
21 yes, 3 absent.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Having received the necessary majority of the votes cast, the minutes are approved. Next order, and I'm particularly excited about this one. Truly am. Proclamation in recognition of Sullivan County Trustee Angela Taylor, and I'd like to call on Chairman Pro Tem Vanover to present the proclamation and invite Trustee Taylor and her family to come to the well, please.
You got you here, didn't you?
You got me here.
You tricked you.
All right.
Sarah's getting some microphone. It's really my honor to do this. These are two of the best people we have in Sullivan County right here. And Mr. Chairman, thank you for the honor of letting me do this proclamation. So this is a proclamation in recognition of Sullivan County Trustee Angela Taylor. Whereas Angela Taylor has faithfully served Sullivan County residents for more than 25 years through various roles in county government, culminating in her election by the people of Sullivan County to be their county trustee. And whereas Angela previously served in the Sullivan County Finance Department as executive assistant to the county mayor and board of county commissioners for more than 14 years, and as branch manager for the Bloomingdale and Thomas Memorial branch libraries. And whereas under her leadership as county trustee, Bristol and Kingsport branch offices reopened, restoring convenient service locations for citizens across the county. Her compassion led her to successfully advocate for a county tax relief supplement after reductions to the state tax relief program impacted local recipients. Taylor worked closely with the Tennessee Comptroller's Office to implement a multiple payment plan allowing taxpayers to make installment payments without interest or penalties, and oft required service, especially from those on fixed incomes. And in 2025, she also secured approval for a prepayment ACH draft option to help citizens better prepare for future tax bills. Whereas at the Tennessee County Trustees Association Conference in May 2026, Taylor was honored with the East Tennessee Division Outstanding Trustee of the Year Award. And whereas this recognition is presented to trustees who demonstrate exemplary service to the state of Tennessee and to the citizens of their county through dedicated public service. Now therefore, on behalf of the Sullivan County Commission, we proclaim June 18th, 2026 to be Sullivan County Trustee Angela Taylor Day, and encourage all residents to join in celebrating the achievements Angela has made throughout her professional life, which she has dedicated to bringing better service to the citizens of Sullivan County, Tennessee. Further, I join all who congratulate Angela for her many personal, educational, and professional accomplishments, including a Bachelor of Science, of Paralegal Studies from the Virginia Intermont College, attaining the status of Certified County Finance Officer designation through the Tennessee Comptroller's Office, service as President of the East Tennessee Trustees Association, Vice President of the Bristol Republicans, a member of the Sullivan County Ethics Committee, and on the Board of Directors for Abuse Alternatives Incorporated. Active member of River of Life Baptist Church, enjoyment of family life with husband Mark Torbett and their 3 children and 4 grandchildren. And do not let it be forgotten, Angela Taylor is known by all for her accessibility, leadership, and commitment to serving the citizens of Sullivan County. Signed, Richard S. Venable, Mayor of Sullivan County. Congratulations.
Thank you all. Mostly I want to thank everyone in this room for giving me support, because without you all, I wouldn't have been able to do any of this. And the citizens who stepped forward and took a chance and voted for me, I hope I have served you well. Thank you all.
Everybody want to make a picture with Angela?
Now, Angela, this is Angela Taylor Day. Is that a paid holiday?
We'll have to have commission
Okay.
approval for that.
What about Mr. Taylor? Yes, Mr. Taylor, can you get your picture made? Our next order is a presentation from PetWorks Animal Shelter. Everyone is here on behalf of PetWorks. If you will, make your way to them. I think we have a PowerPoint for the...
Yes, we do. Appreciate the chance to be here. I want to apologize. Our director was really just disappointed she couldn't be here, but she's had a terrible cold the last few days and barely talked. I do appreciate the chance to do this, and I want to say also with me today is I'm the president of PetWorks currently, and our vice president, Pat Schultz. So we're here, and we'd be glad to answer any questions. I want to say that we try to make this a concise presentation, just give some basic facts, and then get on to the basic challenge we've had this year, which is this more aggressive stance we've taken on trying to deal with the cruelty of animals in the county. This is I will say, a very combined effort. We've had a great cooperation with the Kings Fork Police Department and the Sullivan County District Attorney's Office to help with this thing, but it has created some challenges. You'll see, let's see, jumping to that page, we give some basic facts to the 25-26 year. You can see we've sheltered 2,250 animals. We've successfully had outcomes of 2,056, about a 91.4%. And then, of course, the intake diversion, what this means is that we've been able to help people that come to the shelter have a great need, whether it's a case of not having enough money to take care of a pet, can't get food, that kind of thing. We try to find those resources for them so they can keep their animal. Because most of them do want to keep their pet, but they're under a lot of pressure to do that for various reasons. We, of course, try to go on to the next page, and we actually jumped the page, I believe, if I could go back, just to give you an animal control snapshot. We may not have it in the presentation, I'm sorry if we don't. But other things in terms of total calls, dispatch to assist KPD, 68, aggressive dog calls, 74, feral cat calls, 301, stray dog calls, 145, dogs at large, 206. Community outreach and education, and this is not only the education of different things like elementary school classes, that kind of thing, but in many cases our animal control officers or others will go to the home and actually talk to the people that maybe have a problem and try to address their needs there if they can't. You know, again, it may be a case of more food, maybe a case of they need help from a vet, that kind of thing. But we try to take care of them there if we can and keep them with the people that own the animal. But going back to just to see the outcomes, we do handle a lot of animals. And then, of course, our main reason for being here this year is the cruelty cases. You can see we had 420 welfare calls. We've had to maintain 121 dogs and cats and 200,000 expenses. And what happens is when we have a case like this, and this is a case that can't be resolved by other calls to the home or a lot of times we get calls from people about their neighbors' animals. That's what the welfare calls represent mostly. If the Keysport Police Department feels like the state law allows them to do it, and this is helped by state law, increased state law about a year or so ago, it was passed, they will go after the case aggressively. They work with the DA's office, and the DA will then, when they make a charge, they got to the point now where they'll put a bond down on they'll make the individual that's responsible, they'll have a bond on the animal, or to do that until the court case is resolved. Until the court case is resolved, we take care of the animal. I don't know if it's in here, but in some cases that goes 300 days. We've had as many as 300 days that we have to keep the animal. And of course, that's a cost. It's also a cost for keeping that pen being used for other animals involved. We also have to pay the vet bills and take care of that animal, because the animal, the idea with the courts is we have to keep that animal alive as well as possible until the court case. I'm sure the courts try to move as fast as they can, but that's hard sometimes. And so this is where the expenses go. This year, with what has been taken to court, and there's been a decision by the judge, it's $200,000. At this point, we've gotten $1,000 back. And quite frankly, most of that money we'll never get back. And so that's the reason I think that Commissioner Stidham was inspired to look at something, if possible, to help, because our approach to this was not only to help the animals in Kingsport, of course, but all of Sullivan County, because the more you identify this problem, the more you're going to help all the shelters or other people involved in pet care in this particular county. Also, we appreciate the opportunity to look at this resolution. Be glad to try to answer any questions you might have, and say that we are handling a lot of animals every year. A lot of that comes from the fact that we have barely the second largest shelter in the region. Washington County, John sees it just a tad bigger. But I will say the Bluntville shelter and the Kingsport shelter together handle about 300 or 400 more animals a year than what Washington County, Johnson City does. Be glad to try to answer your questions.
You've heard the presentation. The floor is open for discussion, questions, comments. Anyone seek recognition? Commissioner Crosswhite.
Thank you for coming. How many animals have you had to euthanize? Do you have a number?
Well, this particular year, it's been somewhere in the 200 or so, something like that. We're under the, for the year, we've gotten under the 10%.
Okay, good.
And of course, you probably understand that what the national standard is, to stay under the 10%, be considered a no-kill shelter.
How many have you altered?
I'm sorry, I don't have that answer.
Okay, well, I
The
understand.
director probably would, but I don't.
Okay, I understand. And you are working with our shelter, Sullivan County, correct?
Yes, I don't work with them directly. Michelle says she has a very good relationship with Randy. So I hear good reports that they are working together well, because obviously, you've been able to have an aggressive spay and neutering program and all. And we do work with the Bristol shelter, not as much, obviously, because of the distance. Bristol, of course, just has a holding facility. And most of the time, after 5 days, they send them home.
Do you have an on-staff veterinarian or?
We have a part-time vet that comes weekly at this point in time. We have had we've never had a full-time vet on the site. Of course, that's difficult to do, but we do have the facilities for to do that. We built that into the shelter.
Well, thank you for what
Yeah.
you're doing.
Shelter's actually about 17,000 square feet. We actually had a program before the Peaceport Historical Society found, and I didn't know this myself, but the Humane Society of Sullivan County was created in Peaceport in 1965. It wasn't until 1979 they had the first real shelter, which is the prefab building that still exists on Industrial Drive, but they only occupied half of that. It was about 2,000 square feet. They were constantly full, as you might imagine. That opened in 79. In 2001, they moved to Idlehour Road. They had about 7,000 square feet. So they expanded a great deal there. Of course, the unfortunate thing about Idlehour, where it's located, a lot of people, had trouble finding it, that kind of thing. Then, of course, when we moved to the new shelter, 17,000 square feet. It's a nice shelter. We'd like to say we'd like to say it's the second best in the area,
I
facility-wise.
visited it, yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Sorry, I couldn't answer the other question.
No, you're fine, thank you.
Commissioner Hopper, sir.
Thank you. Do you have any numbers on adoptions of pets from Pet Works?
It's quite a few. One thing I didn't mention, I'm sorry I don't have an excellent number for you, but it's a great deal, because that's key to, not having to euthanize the animals. That's one of our directions. We have, I think right now we have 120 animals out in foster care. We have like 140, 150 people that do fostering. Some of them are constant. Some of them are the ones that are just trying the animal out. Some try a lot of animals out before they choose which animal they want. But we consider that an important part of the process to have the foster care people on.
Do you accept animals from Bristol?
We would, yes.
Well, a personal note, a couple of years ago, I had a situation where I needed a dog placed in your facility, and it was refused because I was basically from Bristol.
I'm sorry that happened.
And that has bothered me ever since,
sure.
but I kept the dog, and I'm happy with the dog, but that's,
Right. Well, we do occasionally, not occasionally, but a lot, unfortunately, we have to turn down animals just because we're full. I know yours is probably different, but we're full a lot of times. That's a problem, even though we've got the number of pens and all that we have. I think we have 91 full-size pens. We can divide up most of those, if we have to, into 2 sections. That's just the dogs. I mean, we have cat suites, 100 and something cat suites.
thank you.
Yeah.
Commissioner Harvey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm an animal lover, and I appreciate you coming and sharing this information. My concern is that this commission had an opportunity to approve a non-for-profit resolution, which they declined to do. It failed. And as a result, Second Harvest Food Bank was removed from any support from this commission. And my concern is, if we're going to look at priorities, I have a hard time putting animals ahead of children in this community who have significant food insecurity. I volunteer at that bank, and I'm telling you that there's incredible work being done to get food to these hungry children that need it, and we're not supporting that. And I will not approve anything unless this commission agrees to put some money back into the budget for Second Harvest Food Bank. Thank you.
Well, it's a great organization, we understand that, and it's my understanding that this resolution was really speaking to maybe pulling out of reserve just because we did want to get into the budget process because we knew how tough it is this year and all. I understand a few budget processes.
Commissioner Crawford.
Thank you, Chairman. John, are there any areas of Kingsport where the feral cat population is more aggressive than other areas?
I cannot answer that, Larry, but I don't know if, that's a tough one on me, but I'm sure there are some areas. I would say that, yeah, we basically have about 13.4% of the area of Sullivan County in Kingsport and city limits. We handle our inside our extended boundaries, and I don't want to be critical because I'm part of the reason for that. But inside those tentacles of the annexation, we have about 80,000 people because of Bloomingdale and Sullivan Gardens and places like that. So we're handling over 50% of the sheltered animals in the county now, and we do get, even though we state that we're supposed to be doing Kingsport only, we do get a lot of animals we know that are outside of Kingsport city limits just because animals don't know city limits signs, obviously. Plus people will bring them in, even though they're in the city limits, they may find an animal that's stray, they take care of it. And so that happens, but I'm sorry, I don't know. I would say they mostly come from those areas that are just outside the city limits. But we do handle a lot of feral, I think it was 300 and some calls for, I can't remember exactly, but something like that for feral cats.
But it seems like in my neck of the woods where my businesses are, that every morning when I come into work, they're lined along the streets down there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I know they're being taken care of because people will come in there and leave food out for them and everything, but.
That's always a problem.
Yeah, and I don't know whether they're spayed or neutered or.
I've got a friend that lives over near Severe Terrace, and he's got all feral cats, and he keeps them, he's trained them over the years, he's got like 6, and keeps them inside.
Well, I think they really show up that time of the morning
Yeah,
because
sure they
food
do.
is out there for them. Thanks, John.
Commissioner Hopper.
Once again, one last question, hopefully, in that, do you have a spay and neutering program with Pet Works that everything comes through, needs to be spayed or neutered? Do you have any requirements?
They do have to be spayed and neutered, but at times we're dependent on vets to do that. Sometimes we have to send them to the place. We don't have as active as we'd like. We certainly have the operating room to do it. It's been a matter of finding the time with the vets to come to our facility and everything. That's something at times we've had really good situations where the vets can work, a vet can work a lot of hours some other times. Sometimes we're dependent on retired vets. But we do have great facilities for it, we just haven't got a full-time staying in the program. They are required to have that before they leave the shelter, yes.
Commissioner Jones.
John, thank you, and Colonel Shaw for coming and presenting to us tonight. Does Kingsport have on staff animal control personnel?
We have 2.
You have 2?
2. It's always a challenge to keep them going, but we have 2 now that are active.
Right. Do they only operate within the city limits?
Primarily they do, but again, the lines are, sometimes they don't know where the lines are.
Sure.
One of the burdens we have, and this is the deal we made a long time ago with Kingsport, when we were only picking up like 4 deer a month.
Right.
We're picking up 3, we're on target for picking up at least 370 to 380 this year.
Right.
Deer.
Yeah.
Not being in the rural areas, the rural areas, I'm sure there's a lot of people that understand deers. If they die within a certain time frame, now Bays Mountain will accept the deer, but it has to be within a certain time frame. They can't have it after so many hours they've been out there, because they use it as feed for certain animals like the wolves. I think they have a freezer. Otherwise, somebody donated a commercial freezer on the front end, and so we bring the deer to the shelter, put them in there, because there's only certain times we can go to the landfill. Of course, by the state law, it has to be covered. that day, when you take it, so.
Okay. Anyone else seek recognition? Anyone else? Mr. Campbell?
Thank you, appreciate your time.
Mr. Scholl, thank you. Thank you both for being here. And you'll be, stick around, there may be other questions
Okay.
when we get to the resolution. Our next order is appointment of Allison Blevins to the Sullivan County Public Library System Board of Trustees to fill vacant term by Larissa Faulkner. Whereas the Sullivan County Mayor has authority to appoint members to the Sullivan County Library Board of Directors, the Sullivan County Library Board of Directors has submitted a recommendation for a member of the board. Now therefore be it ordered, adjudged, and decreed by Sullivan County Mayor Richard S. Venable in his capacity to appoint members to the Sullivan County Library Board that Allison Blevins be appointed to serve on the Sullivan County Library Board of Directors to serve the remainder of the term vacated by Larissa Faulkner. You've heard the explanation of the appointment. The floor is open for discussion. Does anyone seek recognition? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Crawford, second by Commissioner Akert. Dr. Hodder?
Thank you. I was just going to ask if Miss Larissa Faulkner was here.
Is anyone here to speak on this particular appointment? Actually, Larissa Faulkner is who vacated the position. And we are appointing Allison Blevins. Is Ms. Blevins here?
My bad. I meant to say Allison Blevins.
Ms. Blevins, are you here? Neither party's here. We have a motion on the floor. Did that accommodate you, sir? We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Crawford and a second by Commissioner Akert. Is there any further discussion? When the board opens, please cast your vote on the appointment, requiring 13 votes for passage. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk.
20 yes, 1 abstain, 3 absent.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Having received the necessary majority of the votes cast, Allison Blevins is appointed to the Sullivan County Library Board of Directors. Thank you. Without objection, our next order is public comment on agenda and non-agenda related items. And if you wish to address the commission on any item, whether it's on the agenda or not on the agenda, here's an opportunity for you to sign up. And while we're getting that squared away, I'll go ahead and read our public comment rules. Pursuant to Rule 4 of our local rules, we will adjourn from public comment for a period of 30 minutes. Each speaker is requested to state their name and address for the clerk's electronic record. Though this is not question answer, clarifying questions may be permitted. No speaker can transfer or yield time to another speaker. Each speaker will be allotted 3 minutes uninterrupted and is asked to direct all comments to the chair of the body and not the members. At the end of the 3 minutes, I will let you know and ask that you make your final statements. Thank you, Commissioner Cross. Since you're up there, I will recognize you, Mr. Shull.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I see a lot of friends out here. Patrick W. Shull, 1338 Bellmead Drive, Kingsport, Tennessee, 37664. I just wanted to add a couple of comments about Pet Works and their function. By the way, over the years, I've adopted, my wife Mary and I have adopted 4 dogs from Pet Works. It's a great organization. First, the last number I saw was through May, and they picked up 363 dead deer. So when John said it could go as high as 380 by the end of the fiscal year, he was not a bad guess. Which points out the next thing is not only are we doing a humanitarian thing, we're also performing what's normally performed throughout counties in the nation, and that is animal control. I mean, you can't have animals with rabies and so forth running loose. Now, I think Second Harvest Food Bank's a great organization. I give them some money every year. But that's an apple and this is an orange. Animal control is a government function. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shull. Thank you very much. Jerry Malone. Thank you, sir, for being here.
Jerry Malone, 372 Smith Street, Bluff City, Tennessee. I'm going to speak on the Nellie Pratt Bridge project you got on tonight. Growing up in Bluff City, I guess in the 50s, some old person's over there, but I would go up in Main Street, had about 6 grocery stores, and I would deliver groceries sometimes, give me a nickel or a dime or something, somebody called in the groceries, and up and down the street stuff. But as you kind of went down the street to the end of the street, we passed a lot of people coming up, and a lot of kids, a lot of parents, different people, and where they were coming was across the swinging bridge to come out from Silver Grove Road, of course it is now, but it's a pretty big population over in that area then in the 50s. And with the grocery stores and hardware stores and stuff, a lot of them come to shop, and there's different organizations over there. So the bridge was really a big factor then. And then if you go on back in the later or earlier 1900s, 20s, 30s, 40s, the Highland Park over there, before the TVA put in, was a major recreational place for Sullivan County, and the train would stop and let people off, and Yellow Cab Bus Company and Cab Company would bring people down to Bristol, and several of the doctors and lawyers and business people built cabins over along the road there along Silver Grove. And the Highland was, in early, they had a casino on it. They would have dances on Saturday night. And they also put a movie theater on there at one period of time. And an article I found, because tomorrow was the Juneteenth thing, reminded me that on Mondays and Thursdays was blacks only, so whites couldn't come over there and watch the movie. So there was this kind of racial reverse, I guess you'd say. But it was important and had a Ferris wheel, and that was one of the first racetracks built in Sullivan County in the late 40s. Bill and Jimmy Warden, which have been in business people forever, and then the Diggs' brothers that owned Twin City Drive-In. They come down West Virginia, and they started and had races over there. So a lot of people would come down and go use the swinging bridge to get to the island, because on one side was swimming. They had boats you could rent, and a little boathouse, a little changing house for swimming and stuff. So it was a place to go, I guess, near the end. But I want to, Scott Murray and Eric Kearney and Jim Montgomery, and these with the highway department has done a lot of work and time on it, and then Amber Corbett was using the thing, working on the grants and the history part and stuff on it. So it has been vital, I guess, for, well over 100 years now.
That's you're at 3 minutes, sir.
Okay.
Make your final statement, sir.
Okay.
You can make a final
But
statement.
yeah, I just wanted to, appreciate, let everybody know that as Bridges is, and the biggest draw I think we do have, the Over Mountain Trail comes right close to it or next to it there, and that is only one of 12 national trails in the United States. So we have something that's a lot of people don't have. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for being here. Heather Craig, thank you for being here with us.
Heather Craig, 2720 Hickory Tree Road, Love City, 37618. I'm a mail carrier in that area, grew up there. Went off school, came back, no place like Tennessee. There's a feral dog issue out there in that upper end of the county, which seems to be overlooked, in my opinion. Called Animal Control, Randy Fergie, January 23rd. They came out, stayed about 15 minutes, left. A couple good Samaritans and myself have been trapping the dogs because we were told Sullivan County didn't have traps. Saw Sullivan County Animal Control setting a trap out on Ryder Church Road just last week. Then we have the issue of the one dog, I don't know if you followed the story, King, that got shot by Mr. Metcalf. That goes to trial the 13th in Bristol. I think that could have been avoided had the county stepped up and done, what's required of them. I talked with Commissioner Glover about a report wasn't filed when I called the police. They came out. He was very aggravated about having to be there, and I didn't realize at the time that a report hadn't been filed until I had some game cameras set up just to monitor the animals, and happened to have the tag number and pictures and videos of the guy committing the act. And I just want to reiterate that the county doesn't stop here in Bluntville, that we're out there in the sticks, and we need help too. We can't do it all as the citizens. That's what we have the animal shelter here in Sullivan County for.
Thank you very much for being here. Thank you. Jamie Free. Thank you for being here, sir. Welcome.
I just want to speak a little bit about the sheriff's office.
Your name and address, please.
Jamie Free, 1848 4th Street Drive, Kingsport, 37660.
Thank you, sir.
I'm currently running for sheriff under the independent ticket. I worked at Sullivan County Sheriff's Office 33 years, worked under 3 different sheriffs. I got to witness a lot of their downfalls, a lot of their mistakes. I think I have a good solution for a lot of different problems. One of the main things that I see is of course, the budget. Of course, that's one of the main concerns. If elected, then I would do everything in my power to try to maintain that budget without going over. I know that's easy to say, but I have some ideas on how to do that. Another concern of mine is drugs. The drug problem has increased tremendously since 2018. We've got, at the time, 2018, we had 52 fatal overdoses in the county. And 2023, we were up to 93 fatal overdoses in the county. Neonatal abstinence syndrome, that's where children are born addicted. It has risen tremendously. We are currently 50% higher than the state average. So if you think about that for a minute, and think about Knox County, Memphis, Chattanooga, so basically the entire state, we are 50% higher in this region. I'm not saying Sullivan County is the only county in this region, but it's made up of a few different counties. My goals are to work on that, of course. And one of my main goals is to add patrolmen. I started working at the sheriff's office June 1990. We've got the same amount of patrol that we had when I started in 1990. We've got 20-some thousand more people that live in this county now than 1990. If we don't build the patrol up, then at a street level, we're fighting a losing cause right there. So the more patrolmen we can put out there, the more we can actually get done. I believe that will work on our drug problem. It will also, I know when I started there, we had a lot of downtime at night. We would patrol neighborhoods, check businesses. When I left the sheriff's office in 23, we were basically answering calls the entire shift. We were answering calls all the way up until we got off at 6 a.m. With more patrolmen out there, we will have time to go back, actually patrol our neighborhoods, check to make sure that our businesses are safe. And there's a lot of stuff that I want to change, but it's not going to be an overnight thing. I can tell you that. Sorry?
You're at your 3 minutes. You can make your final statement,
Yeah.
sir.
It's a good thing you put a limit, because I've got I can be very long-winded, but I just wanted to let you all know what some of my goals were, and that if I'm elected, I'll be working very hard to fix all these problems.
Thank you very much for being here, sir. Is there anyone else that wished to sign up for public comment but didn't have the opportunity to? Seeing none, without objection, public comment portion of the agenda is closed. Our next order of business is approval of the consent agenda. On the consent agenda, we currently have items 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, 9, 10, and 12. We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Means, a second by Commissioner Calton. Remember, this requires unanimous consent. Is there any item that anyone wishes to bump off before we vote? Seeing none, without objection, when the board opens, please cast your vote on the consent calendar requiring unanimous consent. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk.
21 yes, 3 absent.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Having received the necessary majority of the votes cast, the consent calendar is approved. Without objection, our next order of business is consideration of resolutions. Recognize Commissioner Stidham under old business, item 1. Item 1 under old business. Commissioner Stidham.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you'll look, there's an amended copy of the resolution as at the top in red as amended. The meat and potatoes of this resolution is in the third part of the whereas. It's providing for animal care that are seriously injured or seriously malnourished. In Sullivan County cruelty cases, these animals require extensive veterinary care, long rehabilitation periods before they can be put up for adoption or out of the system. This $50,000 go to help PetWorks offset that. You've heard from the PetWorks board this evening. If there's any other questions, I'm sure Mr. Campbell can come back up and ask them. If not, we'll move to vote.
You've heard the explanation on item number 1. The floor is open for discussion on item number 1. Recognize Commissioner Harvey.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioner Steele, would you give us some background on how this PetWorks was why it was built, how much money that Sullivan County contributed to that, and why it was brought in?
You talking about this resolution, or are you talking about PetWorks and all the history? We donated property that we had taken in tax. It was probably about $75,000, I believe, was the value we donated to them for their building on it. We did give them some money in budget there for a few years for operational funds. And then it was pulled out on that, so.
Was that out of the not-for-profit fund that we paid that?
Yes. And it was removed, I believe here just a couple of years ago when you guys came on board on the admin.
So my understanding is that what Mr. Schul was talking about was about the essential services. Those are supported and provided by the Sullivan County Animal Shelter, correct? The essential services of...
Well, they're supposed to be provided for the whole county and those kind of services. We don't do that anymore. We just supply a little over $675,000 for the Sullivan County one, which does not include Kingsport. So we haven't been giving them any funding for that. This $50,000 would help offset the $200,000 they're behind right now with these cruelty cases.
But this would be not-for-profit funding.
Yes.
Thank you.
And this is one-time funding, not reoccurring.
Commissioner Iverson.
Commissioner Stidham, at the work session, you're talking about pushing us out to next month. I really appreciate you doing that again, because as we spoke yesterday in our budget committee, we're still in a very significant phase in our budgeting. We don't know where we're at on that. We don't know where our fund balance is going to be on that. I think this is something that should probably wait until we can actually decide more of our budgeting process. We're getting ready to hear from the school system here in a little while on a significant increase that they're requesting. So just request you take it to next month, if you, thank you.
The reason why I was going to put it out to July is we weren't sure if they were going to be able to be here to make a presentation to the board. We can roll it out 1 month if we're going to have something on the budget that we're going to do. I know we're meeting on the 29th to review the budget. I have no problem with that. If Mr. Campbell and them can come back if there's any other questions.
Yeah, we'd be glad to. I mean, we're still gonna have that debt, that $200,000. I doubt that those people will be able to pay in that time period. So that would help a great deal, because we're really tight.
We can do that, Mr. Howard.
I would, I recognize Commissioner Aker. He's been seeking recognition.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, I mean, we can push it back, but the meeting on the 29th is to finalize the school board budget, which, you know, they're using $11.5 million of their funds to meet their budget. We've got about a $2 to $3 million short fund for our budget. And it's not, we either got to decide, are we going to support Pet Works or not? I mean, I've sat here for 8 years. I mean, we do this every so often. And I know Mr. Scholl, who used to sit right over there, when we got into the business of animal shelter 8 years ago, we started out with like $150,000. Now we're almost to $700,000 in Sullivan County. The $50,000, you know, nonprofits are, I mean, y'all know how I feel. I don't feel like we, in general, should support nonprofits, because there's 158,000 people in Sullivan County, and we're never going to support every nonprofit that people want to support. We can't do it. Someone mentioned about not trying to be within the budget. Well, we're smack dab right in the middle of the budget. I mean, this could have been the worst time ever to bring this up. And the $50,000 is not going to do anything to that $200,000. I mean, it'll help, but it's not going to do it. And then someone mentioned, either Mr. Campbell or Mr. Schul mentioned, animal control is a government function. Yeah, we're in it, you know, and we keep trying to get out of it, and we never will. Our animal shelter is supposed to be a 100% nonprofit, and that's never happened. And like Commissioner Harvey said, you know, we have a lot of starving kids, and I don't think it's apples to oranges difference, because I'm sure those kids would like to have some apples and oranges. And it's just, we can't play this game every couple of years. We'll give them a little money, make them feel good, or we're not. It just, we got to decide if we're going to support it or not. I mean, my vote's not going to change whether we do it today or July. It's nothing against them. It's like, we have our Sullivan County, and we spend a lot of money on that. And we can make a decision, do we expand that Sullivan County shelter or not? You know? And so, and to be honest with you, yeah,
we're looking at $2 to $3 million shortfall. Well, I'll throw it out there. School budget, we get ready to see what they're looking at, wanting to do. And so, again, if we support this nonprofit, then that's going to open up the floodgates for all those other nonprofits that we've been trying to get rid of. So, thank you.
Mr. Campbell.
If I could just make a comment, and this is more as a Sullivan County taxpayer. I happen to be involved in the formation of Johnson City, Washington County Shelter back in the middle 80s. So they've been in existence for 30-some years. And one of the reasons we got into that position at that time, and I'm not saying that we need to do exactly the same thing they do, I understand that part, because the driving force in my career has always been, how do I provide the best services at the lowest possible cost? Last year, Johnson City, Washington County paid a total of $550,000 for their shelter. $550,000. So $250 by the county, $300 by the city of Johnson City. This past year, the city of Kingsport paid $550,000 for this shelter, the Petworth shelter, and of course you paid almost $700,000. That's a difference of $700,000 and some thousand as a taxpayer. That's over 1 penny of the tax rate. I think it's $600,000 and some thousand a penny. And so that concerns me, that I think we need to address a long-term situation. I've actually had discussions with the city manager and mayor, Kingsport. There has been a drive to, at times they wonder, should we just take it over and do it? At the same time, me as the city manager trying to take care of the taxpayers says, hey, this is a kind of entity that is a county responsibility overall. Most of the shelters in this state are county only. I mean they're total county. Then the next group is city-county together. The smallest group is where they're individual. And so, I think there has to be a better long-term solution. But one of the reasons that Johnson City, Washington County could operate that way is because they have a united front, and they are in the position where they get a lot more donations. I'm talking about big donations. They've got a very fortunate situation just a year or 2 years ago, in the fact that the biggest landowner of Washington County let his entire state to 2 shelters, or 3 shelters primarily, but most of the money went to Greene County and the Johnson City, Washington County shelter, mainly because he was limestone, most of his land was in limestone and all. And we're starting to see those kind of donations, and we do have we have an active fundraising. This year we know of one estate, we're probably going to get $200,000 next year sometime. We've got several others. We now have a trust of land where a lady left us some land, but we can't get the money for a long time because she's got animals, and that was part of the deal. So those animals had to survive on that property until they died together. And there are horses and donkeys, so you usually have a longer life. But I would say, I agree with you, there needs to be a better long-term solution. But about the state, it falls under the health, safety, and welfare of the county. And so ultimately it's that, and I'm not saying take it all on, but there needs to be a better solution. Because you want the best shelter possible. We're 13.4% of the land mass. We're 34% of the population. We're handling over 50% of the pets at this time. So we're taking care of what now? Sullivan County is different in a lot of places in the fact that if you're in Piney Flats, the Johnson City shelter is the most convenient shelter to you. And so there's a growing population there and all. And then when the GIS people did their location map, there was even a certain 2 or 3% that were closer to the Carter County shelter they were. And then of course Bristol has 3, I think, staff members, and they have holding facilities. They don't like to keep it past 5 days. So there's a combined effort here, but there needs to be some greater look at it. I hope that will happen going forward. The reason that we were happy to see Commissioner Stidham present this was just because of the initial push to be more aggressive and deal with cruelty to the animal situation. That's what caused this more than anything else. Just go after that particular site just to give us some ease on that.
Recognize Commissioner Glover, then Commissioner Rader.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm sitting here and listening to the discussion on this. Commissioner Akers right, and Commissioner Harvey's right. We did do a lot of hard work on nonprofits, and we decided not to fund nonprofits because when you have to raise taxes to pay the bills, you don't need to do nonprofits. I sat here also and listened to discussions about picking up dead deer. I don't think the dead deer has anything to do with your animal shelter. Bristol, Tennessee Essential Services pick up deer in the city. Sullivan County Highway Department pick up deer in the county. That's part of it. Bad decisions on the Pet Works part, bad decisions of how you run your department should not be a reflection on the rest of the county taxpayers. You chose, and Kingsport chose, to open that shelter up. And that was y'all's idea to do that. And back at that time, our animal shelter was left in a mess because of the situation. So there was a comment there about comparing apples and oranges to a child, and we did the nonprofits so we didn't have to raise taxes, so everybody in this county could afford to buy groceries for all their kids and all their families. And that's the reason why we did that. And I'll stick by the nonprofits. Anytime you have to raise taxes to fund your budget, and all the homeowners and all the families in the county suffer over that. So I'm like Mr. Akers. I'm not in support of this, and I think everybody else needs to think about long and hard what we did do in here with nonprofits. Ms. Harvey's correct. We did do that. And bad decisions on y'all's part is not our responsibility to come in and take you out.
I don't want to get into a debate about it. I don't want to get into a debate. I'm talking about fighting the shelter or anything like that. I think it's a matter of, in our case, like I mentioned earlier, we had the first kind of shelter around back in 65 or 79, went to a better shelter, then went to so we were just trying to improve animal care. That's all we were trying to do. And having gone, I was off the board when they finally opened the building, but before, we went through an extensive GIS search of, the whole area, because we have a really good GIS staff. And basically, we were prepared to go 3 miles further towards Bristol with the shelter at that time. But I mean, I understand the situation with nonprofits. Believe me, I've been through that in Johnson City, Washington County, where we have tough years and you don't let me cut out. But most of the time, just kept them even, but I'm not saying, I understand that's a big pressure. I've been through the budget.
Commissioner Akers.
Sorry to speak again, but what Mr. Campbell said a few minutes ago, I think it was very important, because I think after a budget meeting about 2 years ago, we spoke very briefly, and it was about what he just talked about, a long-term solution. And I think that's what it's going to honestly take, is to get the right people to the table to make a long-term solution. I'm glad you mentioned that, because we can't look at it just as one entity. And if we're going to be in the animal control business, then we need to decide how we're going to be in that animal control business for the long term. So, no, I'm glad you said that.
Well, appreciate you mentioning that. Good memory. Thank you.
Commissioner Jones.
John, you mentioned the state law. Is that correct?
Yeah.
What is, tell me what that is.
I can't recite the law.
But I meant what it encompasses.
Basically, there's typically an overriding theory in terms of health, safety, and welfare of the city or the county. That's the way, like solid waste is, we support solid waste. Other types of features we do that. I happen to be in when I was in Johnson City, we were in a big battle with Actual Waste Management. GFI came after the city because we were doing all of the county solid waste pickup.
Right.
Except for Jonesboro and the university. But the VA had come over to us, but as we successfully won that case, because basically under law, that's a responsibility of ours. And I think animal control is the same thing. Now, how you do it, the state doesn't really try to prescribe how you do it. It's just that, as a county elected person, you want to do that as best you can. And I think the best way to do that is to make sure all your entities are working together.
So, I guess where in my thinking, and I understand you're a nonprofit, but I'm thinking about the responsibility. We represent this board, the whole county, even though we have EMAs, we still represent from Flyers Gap to the offset. So there is a responsibility. Maybe it's not spelled out exactly in law, or it is.
No, I don't think it is specifically about animals so much.
But there is a responsibility assumed in the law that the counties will be responsible. What I've watched is we have surrendered part of our responsibility because of annexation and other things. The city took on that responsibility, but it's still county. They still pay county taxes. 73,000 people.
Well, the population of Kingsport currently is 57, about
57.
About 55 are inside Sullivan County, the other 2,500 are in.
Okay, so 55,000 people that are Sullivan County residents that are being represented not only by this body, but also by the city of Kingsport. Thank you.
I would say, just happen to have the latest assessment thing. I think 41% of the assessment for the counties in Kingsport taxpayers, about 69% of personal property assessments inside Kingsport city limits also. So.
Thank you, Mr. Kent. Commissioner Stidham.
We'll roll it to the July calendar.
Commissioner Stidham moves to defer item number 1 to next month's calendar. That brings us to the end of old business. Next order. Recognize Commissioner Glover under new business on item number 8.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This resolution is to appropriate up to $470,404.24 from the lien debris reimbursement funds to be used for the repair of the Nellie Pratt Swinging Bridge. I don't know if y'all want me to read all that. I did read it last Thursday night, but Scott Marion Highway Department received this money, and they are responsible for bridges. And he wanted to use this relief money to repair that bridge. It's been shut down for over 2 years, and he felt like that was the best way to get it repaired without any cost to the county taxpayers. Tonight I have Bluff City Mayor in the crowd here, and she's got some aldermen on her board with her. If there's no objection, I'd like for her to come up and maybe say what this would mean to Bluff City and the citizens there. Just give a little review of how long this has been going on and the conversation she's had with Commissioner Murphy.
Yes, so thank you all for considering this. This bridge is so important to us. It brings in tourism, and we need that. Bluff City is really trying hard. We're getting things in order. I don't know if any of you are familiar. We have stormwater issues, but we've got the EPA that's now coming in with technical assistance, so that's very exciting. So we're trying hard to make improvements. We really want Bluff City to be the gem that everyone thinks that it is, and we're pleased that people think that, but this is such a special part of Bluff City, and I've had talks with the commissioners and also the highway department. They've tried so many different ways, and we'd really like to get this done. Again, it's just a very special part of Bluff City. It means so much to the people who've been in Bluff City for a very long time, like Alderman Malone, and people like me who've only been there for 30 years. But I appreciate you all so much and your consideration in this. It's a big part of Bluff City, and we'd like to get it back. Thank you.
Who else do you have with you tonight?
So I'm Alderman Johnson. He's good. Alderman Johnson. So he's here in support as well. But we are grateful for any assistance as always. We're always grateful to the relationship we have with you all, Commissioner King, Commissioner Glover. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. We put this on waiver of rules, and the reason why it was put on waiver of rules is just like the rest of the commissioners are talking about the budget process. and this will be put in, will be done next year. Just like Commissioner Murray said the other night, this will be run through the proper process with Ms. Davis's office. It will be put out for bids and turned back in, and they'll handle that process along with Scott Murray. And of course, Scott will be gone at that point in time. They haven't been highway commissioner coming in. And we just want to get this done, make sure everything's put in the right place. So she is right about the folks coming to Bluff City. We travel that road every single day. You'll see a lot of vehicles sitting there with folks with children out on the bridge. It's blocked off so you can get across it. I think Commissioner Akers has even been by there the last little bit and checked it out. So like I said, thank you. If you got any questions, I'll do my best to answer. If I don't, we'll ask Mr. Montgomery to help. So
I recognize Commissioner Jones.
Commissioner, what did we have to do have we received the money, and what was the cause of us getting a reimbursement of $470,000?
we have
Was
received
this the logs?
We have received the money. That resolution was done last month to accept that money, so the money is there. That process was done by the Highway Department through the lien debris process reimbursement funds. The Highway Department handled all that paperwork, turned it in. Ms. Sherry DeVault with grant writing followed up on that, made sure it was run through the proper channel, the proper procedure. It was brought back to the county. Highway Department was made aware of it. The resolution was written up last month. Who was the sponsor of that last month to accept that money? Might have been Commissioner King, but it's there. So did I missed anything, Mr. Montgomery?
Is the money being held in your department, Jim, in your budget?
Yes, this goes to our fund balance, is what it
Okay,
amounts to. It's in our funds, it's sitting there, and originally, for quite some time now, as we were doing this, trying to get this debris money, and working with Sherry and others at the Highway Department, we wanted to use this money to repair the bridge, because it's got a couple places in the middle of it, and that's why it's sagging as much, that made us to block it off where it's not usable. And this was a good place for that money. It was it's a good project. Now, I was kind of surprised to see exactly what we got, the 27 cents or whatever it was, but anyway, that's exactly what we got back on that grant. On that, not grant, but on the money from the debris from that lien.
Okay. Do you have any other projects that you've applied for from that relief?
No, in fact, that's all the funds right there. That's all the money for that. Now, we don't know what this is going to cost exactly until we actually get it out to bid.
Okay.
So, this is up to that. Now, that's just setting that money aside, and it may be more. If it is, then we'll have to come back to county commission and say, we need another $20,000 from our fund balance for this. But anyway, right now, that's what we felt like was to use that money to repair the bridge.
Thank you, Jim. I appreciate it. And I apologize I wasn't here Thursday. I had a family issue too.
That's fine, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem.
Commissioner King.
Thank you. Jim, the reason we got that money was all the work that the highway department did in the cleanup, especially over in the Hickory Tree area.
Yes.
And that's the reason, that was reimbursed because of all the work we did. And then they sent the money to us, and then Scotty said that he'd like to fix the bridge with that money.
Yes.
So that's kind of how it went. And last Thursday, the question was brought up, is he going to take the whole $500,000 or whatever it was, the number, to fix the bridge? And we're talking about the composite boards on the bottom and all that. That's just part of it, because we're going to put sides on it, the wire fence to keep
all the fencing, yes.
All that is, so it's just more than just the boards on the bottom of the bridge. There's more to it than that to fix. And like you said, we've had an architect look at it, and he gave us a ballpark figure of what he thought it would take. But till we get into it, we really don't know.
And if you, maybe if you may or may not remember, years ago, this had wood structures for the supports.
Right.
Back in the 90s, I think it was, and they started collapsing, so that's when we went in and redid the whole bridge. Spent quite a bit of money back then to repair the bridge, put the steel structures, cables and everything, and they're all in good shape. It's just some of the supports for the decking itself has given loose, which supports the sides of it and keeps it from rocking. That's the point about it. You see the big cables running around the side, that's to keep it from rocking in the wind and when you walk across it. And yes, we don't know what it's going to cost. That's just appropriating that money for this project. We'll see what happens when it actually comes in.
I'm good.
Commissioner Means.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our Financial Management Committee approved this unanimously, and I just wanted to ask and see if I could be a co-sponsor on this resolution.
All those voting in the affirmative will be co-sponsors.
Anyone else seek recognition? Commissioner Raker.
Thank you. And Sam, I know since you weren't here last week, we did nominate you to be the first one across it.
Anyone else seek recognition on the resolution? Let me clarify.
You know, we sit in here and talk about tourism, and we sit in here and talk about tourism money. I think this is a good start for Bluff City to start making a dent in getting some tourism folks to come to Bluff City. And there's some other things that's going on in Bluff City besides this. I think there's going to be a crosswalk put in down there, and mayor's worked on that and all of them, other things. And I think it's just going to go in step with all the other things that have been done down there. So appreciate y'all's support on this, and like I said, everybody loves our lead co-sponsors. Thanks. Sam wants to know how soon we can bid it. I think as soon as, I would say probably after the budget process will be over with, and.
No, I've already talked to Steve Wilson, our engineer, told him that we're waiting on tonight's vote.
Okay.
Which
Good.
puts the money appropriated in, and we can tell him, and he can get with Chris Davis, do the, whatever paperwork they have to do.
There is a company that does this type of work that's already looked at the bridge, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, and, you know, it would be in a new budget year, yes,
Yes.
time they get it all done, but
Yes.
it takes 2 or 3 months to bid it.
Yeah.
Just-
I'd
But
say
we've
they-
got to get going with it.
Probably in the spring. It'd be warm enough for us to walk across.
Commissioner Hopper.
Hold his hand.
Thank you. I think, is it possible to walk across it now?
No.
Well, the point being is that somebody might try and they fall off the thing, so I think you better get on this thing pretty darn quick.
Well, we've got it blocked off each end.
Well, you know
But
how
yes,
people
you're
are.
correct. We've had to take the fence down, but the part out there is leaning in the middle. So I do not, let's put it this way, I wouldn't cross it right now. We walked out close to it though with our engineer and these bridge people to look at it, so.
Commissioner Glover, you renew your motion
Yes,
for
sir.
waiver of rules. Commissioner
Yes,
Glover
sir.
renews his motion for waiver of rules on item number 8, requiring 16 votes for passage on waiver of rules. When the board opens, please cast your vote on item number 8. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk.
21 yes, 3 absent.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Having received the necessary majority of the votes cast, item number 8 is adopted. Without objection, recognize Commissioner Jones on item number 11.
Since this was brought up Thursday, there's been several calls that we've received, Travis and I, on this. And until we get a group, I think, he met out there, and then people realized what was going on. He met with the highway commissioner, and people said, we ought to do it. And so there's some opposition, and we'll just withdraw it now until we get firm community commitment on it. Thank you.
Sponsor moves withdraw item number 11. Without objection, recognize Commissioner Vanover on item number 13.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item 13 is a resolution to authorize the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Frontier Health to establish a clear protocol for the co-sponsor program between the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office and Frontier Health. The resolution was passed last month for the funding. This is at the request of County Attorney Street, just to clarify what the responsibilities of both parties are in this program. So, good program. I think it'll save lives. I think it'll keep people out of jail and save us money. So, I'd ask for waiver of rules for immediate consideration and adoption.
You've heard the explanation on item number 13. Sponsor moves waiver of rules. It was removed from consent calendar at the end of the meeting last week. Sponsor moves consent calendar on item number 13. Excuse me, moves waiver of rules. Got too much chatter. Sponsor moves waiver of rules on item number 13, requiring 16 votes for passage. Anyone seek recognition on item number 13? The floor is open for discussion. Seeing none without objection, when the board opens, please cast your vote on item number 13. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk.
21 yes, 3 absent.
Having received the necessary majority of the votes cast, item number 13 is adopted. Recognize Commissioner King on item number 14.
Thank you. This resolution is to amend the general fund 2026 fiscal year budget to complete an orderly process of finishing the fiscal year operations due to this being our final meeting in this fiscal year. And some of our appropriations exceeded in the amount that what we're doing is we're going to take the money, and then I think the Sheriff's Department, this is just to move from one place to another. But it's going to take $46,538 out of the general fund to do this, and that'll clean everything up. And that way, when we have an audit, everything will be in order. So I think I talked about it last Thursday, so I recommend we go ahead and do this, so Leslie can get everything in order.
You've heard the explanation on item number 14. Sponsor moves adoption on waiver rules. The floor is open for discussion. Recognize Commissioner Glover.
So why this 46,538? Where is that going to in these account numbers?
Leslie, I'm going to let you answer that question.
Certainly. So the items that are going to be funded through the additional fund balance amount are the $8,500 for the circuit court clerk's employee benefits account, $1,000 for General Sessions Judge in Bristol, $2,000 for General Sessions Judge in Kingsport. Those are both their 300 accounts where they pay for the printing of forms for the courts, and both need some additional funding there for that purpose. And then the ETSU forensics budget is in need of a little over $21,000. And the Veterans Service Office personnel budget, an additional $13,188. And that was due to the new position that was approved in last year's budget, but only for a portion of the year. And when the new budget was put together for this fiscal year, that was overlooked, that it was only for a portion of the year. So.
What about the What about the $250,000 there where it says sheriff employee benefits?
Everything for the sheriff's office and workhouse budgets, for their personnel budgets, is coming out of available funding in the corrections budget. So that's not, those are existing appropriations in the corrections budgets that will not be needed. So we're just transferring those between major categories, or major account series.
To do until the new budget's passed, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Commissioner King, give you the final word before we.
I think we just need to go ahead and approve this, and so we can get our budget finalized. Thanks.
Sponsor renews his motion on waiver of rules from item number 14, requiring 16 votes for passage. Without objection, when the board opens, please cast your vote on item number 14. Has every member voted? Does any? Where'd Hopper go? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk.
20 yes, 4 absent.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Having received the necessary majority of the votes cast, item number 14 is adopted. Without objection, recognize Commissioner Crosswhite on item number 15.
Thank you, Chairman. This resolution is for the general purpose school budget, and it's just where they have determined that they don't need the funds anymore, and you can see that the $7,000 medical insurance and the board and committee members of $5,500 equals the $12,500, so it's just washing out. So I just asked that you put this on waiver rules, but if you have any questions, Mr. Carter's here.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Commissioner Crosswhite. Heard the explanation on item number 15. The floor is open for discussion. Sponsor moves waiver rules on item number 15, requiring 16 votes for passage. Anyone seek recognition? Seeing none, without objection, when the board opens, please cast your vote on item number 15, waiver of rules. Requires 16 votes. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk.
21 yes, 3 absent.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Having received the necessary majority of the votes cast, item number 15 is adopted. Recognize Commissioner King on item number 16. Good. There we go. There we go. Commissioner.
All right, there you go. Yesterday at our budget hearing, we had the schools came over, they got their budget finalized, and they brought it to us, and Dr. Carter presented it to us. And I guess what we need to do is Dr. Carter, if you want to come up and present to the full commission what you presented to us, if that's okay.
Yes, sir.
Before you begin, Mr. Carter, 16 and 17, is that the same thing?
No.
Okay, they're two complete. Okay. It was a duplicate on my end. Oh, on my paper, excuse me.
Okay, all right.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. First, thank you for having me here this evening. I'd like to say thank you to our board chairman, Mr. Price is back here as well, and Mr. Lowe's came over, and I see Eric technology supervisor as well, so thank you to them. I also like to say a big thank you to Kirsten Buttram, who works very closely with us and has been a great partner with us. And she and Ingrid have worked diligently through this, and so what I'm going to present to you is the outcome of that. So you should have the sheet that starts out saying budget summary, FY 26-27 on it at the top of the page. That's where I'll be working off of. Number one, the TISA revenue versus salary mandates. Yeah, should budget summary, parentheses, FY 26-27. And I have additional copies if I need. Try to put one of everybody's.
Does everybody have what they need?
Everybody good? All right. So TISA revenue versus salary mandates in the 25-26 school year that we just completed, our TISA funding was $52,066,557.16. What's estimated to be coming in this year, in 26-27 school year, will be $53,010,471.69, which is a net increase of $943,914.53. Basically, though, that increase is what's required by the state. It was given to us for salaries, and that's in the effort to get every teacher in the state of Tennessee at a base salary of $50,000. So that money actually doesn't take care of a 1.5% raise. So we're actually at a $49,621.56 shortfall there. So that money, this is the last year for that money. Everyone will be required to be at a $50,000 base salary this next coming year after this. Down below, you've got our projected operational increases, and this is not all inclusive. I know yesterday in the budget meeting, Mr. Jones asked about our retirement increases. I found out that's going to, Ingrid pulled that up, it's going to be around $175,000 increase there. I want to make sure to share that number with you today. I didn't have it yesterday. But so these are the major ones. The projected costs or the revenue impact. The first one is the health insurance increase. It was estimated earlier it was going to be a double-digit increase with health insurance costs. That is going to round out around 9.87%. Be a little bit higher in some areas, and depending on the plan that the individual chooses. But that's our projected cost there of increase. Loss of local revenue, $280,000. We did get our new release of those numbers. I told Ms. Bonner and sent that to Angela Harris and to Kirsten. Just got that actually right before we came over, but I don't think that'll change a great deal. But a loss of revenue in the city county split of $280,000 there. Increase in the mowing, $125,000. This is to allow the contracted service to get the schools on a regular basis. It was spread out over a bi-weekly period, and so with holidays, weekends, and things of that sort, there's instances where some schools weren't getting services for over 2 weeks, much longer than that. So that's what that increase is. I know when I was at graduation, pulling up at Westridge at graduation, as soon as you pulled on the campus, it was just pristine. Looked like a college campus over there. I think it's something that Sullivan County can be very proud of. All of our campuses, when you pull up on we're getting a tremendous service there. And honestly, if you take the salaries of the people that were doing the mowing, the fuel, the equipment, repairs and all that, we're almost at a wash on that expense. But the quality and the outcomes on it are really outstanding. Support staff, we're going to do the raise of 1.5% for our certified teachers and certified employees. Our board is committed to doing an equal raise for our support staff as well. So that's equaled out to $175,000 to make sure that everybody gets a raise. As Mr. Aguilar asked us yesterday, this includes everybody when we do this. Benefits on those required salaries above that we were talking about with the TISA funding, it does not increase, it does not cover the benefits. So $150,000 on benefits. For our SRO salaries, beyond the grant of $75,000 per SRO at each school, at 50% of that, that's $60,000 of an increase there. Support staff step increases, another $50,000. We have a data and accountability specialist that's going to be serving us in 12 months. And it's evident that that's a positive for us because we've just been receiving data and he's already getting the files out to the schools, separating them, helping them figure out their new targets for this next year. So for planning purposes and for hopefully the increases in academic success, this has the potential to pay way beyond what this $11,500 is asking for. Our full-time pre-K assistants, currently what we have there, we have a pre-K assistant that works till 1 o'clock in the afternoon, which means that the students have to go home at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And if you know anything about childcare, that's basically, this is a form of childcare. Students can't ride a bus home at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Parents are working, and so to say that we finish at 1 o'clock in the afternoon means that those students really can't be in our program. If they are, they have to have somebody available to pick them up. And if they were not working, there's a good chance they would put them in there in the first place. So this allows us to have the ability to have those assistants there for the rest of the day. And then the students would be able to ride home on our transportation, so it helps all the way around for our families. And also it helps us because those students are getting a full pre-K experience and hopefully gets them set on their academics when they come into kindergarten next year. Yes.
Do those students count the TISA funding?
It's a good question, but the answer unfortunately is no. Pre-K does not figure in. It's one of those unfunded mandates, but we see the value in it. And I can share, I have it in some other notes, but we do, now we will have a pre-K in all 10 of our elementary schools, and that's in big part due to Miss Kathy Nestor, our elementary supervisor, made application for a grant to open a pre-K at Miller Perry Elementary School, and that was awarded. And so that's funded to open that pre-K, stock it, get everything going for a startup there without asking for any additional funds to do that. The district mental health and school counseling coordinator, we have this position or a person who does the duties that this position carries out, but it doesn't take into consideration all the things that happen outside of her contract that she currently serves as a counselor. And so by doing this and adding $9,500 to her salary, we now have somebody that can address all of the unfortunate, again, suicide attempts or suicide ideation, notices and notifications that come to our system that she takes care of outside of her calendar and outside of her schedule, and so many other things that counseling needs directions with mental health. And then another big part of that, we connect that to, is the school counseling. A big emphasis and accountability for our counseling and advising to be much more intentional and focused on the individual student, so that we have a lot better success rate of students leaving high school and going into a path, whether it's going to work, going to a technical, 2-year, 4-year apprenticeship, military, whatever it is. That counseling piece is critical there, and it does have an impact on our funding as well. So I think that's another position there that it should have a really strong return on the investment. And then the next one, assistant or associate principals at 4 of our elementary schools who currently are not supported by an assistant. Central Heights Elementary, Sullivan Gardens Elementary, Mill and Perry Elementary, and Emmett Elementary. Currently do not have that. They have a stipend for a teacher that's in the classroom who, if there's a situation where the principal's out for a meeting or illness or injury or anything, that person is available to be called out of their classroom, which takes them away from their students, not teaching, and then they can address issues. This places an associate principal in that school, in those 4 schools. And then the last one on there is additional SROs at East High School and at our alternative school. And our Sheriff's Department, very great partnership. They felt like this gives us better coverage. Obviously, at the alternative school, currently we do not have an officer there. And so I think the question was asked, how many students are there? In the course of the day, there could be upwards of 200, 250 students there at the annex on the central middle school campus, but it's separate. It's the high school, and then our alternative school as well. So there is a chance, a strong chance. Our Sheriff's Department's also reached out to the state, and they're evaluating the possibility of additional funding, which would give us another $75,000 to offset on this initial fee to get us started. So this could go down if that's awarded to us, but we would have 1 full-time added and 2 part-time SROs added, which would give us that coverage at both East High School and the East Zone, additional coverage in the East Zone, and then also the officer there at the alternative school. So what these increases and the deficits total is $2,147,000 estimated, projected there. So we drop on down to number 3, the fund balance utilization. In 25-26 budget, we were pulling from the undesignated fund balance $9,705,673 to do this budget. In 26-27, we're going to require us to utilize $11,781,414. On the next page, on the back of the first page, this is just information to show you where we started the year. Ms. Buttram prepared this and there's some of this that is estimated down towards the bottom there, but it goes through post dates, showing you where we have a figure of $27,525,329.38 when we started the school year, and then it goes down through there to where you get at the bottom, the FY26 ending balance, estimate only of $20,941,000 $477.98. That's possible, but it's only a projection. If you'll flip the page, you'll be able to see what may be a little bit more of a firm number. It's still estimated, but what we took out to balance the 25-26 budget is at $9,705,673. And then you add those two, the textbook reserve, that there was no reserve set up for originally, so that $140,000. And then the Centegix alert system, that's an annual fee that wasn't figured in. So really, it was $9,991,911.74 was used out of fund balance. So you take that 27 million number there, which is the beginning of the year, FY26 that we had on the top of that other page. You take that 991,000 out, and that's got you at 17,533,417.64 estimated at the end of this school year, without anything going back in from FY26 at this point. So, and then beyond that, just to be very clear, you've got that 17,533,417. At this point, that's the estimate. You're going to deduct that fund balance required to budget FY26-27. So that 1178 comes off of that number.
Mr. Jones, sorry, I was going to allow Mr. Carter all his information.
No,
And then I've got a list of people that are wishing to ask questions. If you're ready for that, Mr. Carter.
Yes.
Or unless you have more to present.
No, at this time, that's the conclusion.
Recognize Commissioner Harvey.
Chairman, thank you very much for this report. Couple questions. I know you talked about the 4 new positions. So could you define the difference between, I heard associate principal and I heard assistant principal. So can you?
Yes, ma'am.
Distinguish that.
Associate principals were basically established before I came here. I wasn't familiar with that term either. Associate principals were designed to pretty much get people in a pipeline to become administrators. And so they serve basically as an assistant principal, but their contract is a teacher salary plus a stipend of around $5,700. So, and then they work 2 less weeks than an assistant principal. So for this assistant principal has a little longer schedule and it makes a little higher salary than the associate. Duties during the course of the regular school day would be basically the same. They serve as administrator.
So the money that you've put in here, $440,000 plus benefits, is that for assistant principals?
Currently, it's listed as an associate principal. We would like to even look at the possibility of that being an assistant because we get 2 more weeks and the difference in pay is negligible, really. So.
Okay, so how many students are at Emmett?
Emmett, I don't have their exact enrollment with me, but we're looking at, Ingrid, would you say, anybody got it there handy?
1 second, I'm pulling
She's
it up.
looking. Emmett's going to be closer to 300, but under that, let's see. I can pull up the document too if you. About 330. 330. 330.
How many?
330.
330. So you want a principal and an assistant principal, 330 kids, right?
Yes, and there, whether you, I think, and I understand where you're going with that, but whether you have 330 or you have 430, during the course of the day, you have the same, you have parents, you have observations, you have issues, and you have the opportunity that somebody's out of the building. So,
But you don't distinguish the salaries between how many students are in the school, correct?
I'm not clear, I'm not sure I understand.
You don't have a differentiation in the salaries because of numbers
Oh,
of
no,
students in
no,
the school?
no, I see what you're saying, yes.
Okay, thank you.
And let me just make sure, am I correct when I say that? Right. I know when I was in Hamlin County, principals were given based on the number of teachers or something like that. It's a little different, but.
Commissioner Crawl.
Thanks, Chairman. Chuck, a couple of questions. On the mowing service, does that include all of the schools in the system?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And these are all contracted to individual?
One company has the
One
contract
company.
currently, Barry.
And your full-time pre-K, how many schools are actually participating in a full-time?
It'll be, well, currently, none of the schools have full-time. This will allow all 10 to have full-time pre-K systems.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
Commissioner Jones.
Well, you can probably answer. Did we add that 175 to that bottom line on the front page to make that 2,322,000?
We could. There's probably other lines that, Ms. Lugs, isn't that correct, that would be minimal, but they are increases. But we could definitely add that to it. Which just contributes to the need for the undesignated fund balance request.
Right. Thank you.
Commissioner Carr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chuck, thank you for being here.
Yes, sir.
Am I correct that after this year, the fund balance will be down to $5,752,000?
Unless whatever goes back in.
Okay. What's the game plan going forward with that?
That's a good question.
Yes, sir.
It is, and I kind of thought about that, Mr. Iverson. We talked about that just a little bit last night. I don't know if I felt real prepared to address that because, to be honest with you, if I can have the pleasure of addressing the board or the commission, excuse me, I think that is a question about investment. I think 30 years ago, when we came to the county commission and we started talking about the raise, and we talked about projects, capital projects, and we talked about our needs. What I was told numerous times was, you need to use your fund balance. You need to get that fund balance taken. I think our board did just that. I think they committed to the salary increase, which has enabled us to do an outstanding job of recruiting and retaining top educators in Sullivan County. Your students are the benefactors of that, plus our schools and our school system. So that is a recurring cost. And I think Ms. Harvey, there was others in the room that were very concerned about that and expressed that and said, you know, what's the long-term plan? And what I remember Travis Ward, Commissioner Ward said, let's give him a chance. Let's give him a chance and see what he does. So I took that and I took it to heart, and I've worked diligently for the last 3 years to do everything I can to, number one, I had 3 goals. Number one was to be honest, hardworking, and transparent. Now, I've done that. I've been very upfront. to bring programs and opportunities to the students and the schools in Sullivan County. And I've got a list of those that I can go over here, but I don't want to take the pulpit and do too much of that, but I can't share it. And then number three, I wanted to make sure that we have the opportunity to move forward and be a successful partnership by building relationships with this county commission and working together to advance Sullivan County for the benefit of Sullivan County. You heard tonight about our drug epidemic. There was an article in the Kingsport Times just over last week that referred to the number of people, the percentage of people in Sullivan County that are living at or below the poverty line, the Alice, and then the true poverty line. That estimates about 40% of the families in Sullivan County. My job, my goal is that number changes dramatically through the work that we're doing in our school system, which is where I believe the investment can do that. I think what we do in Sullivan County recruits businesses and industries. It promotes the welfare of our children and our families by providing them with better education and better jobs. And I think all those things are my goal of what we've done and how we've done it. And I'll just say, the list that I've got has not included, and it even goes before I came here, almost 10 years that we, as a school system, have not came and asked for funds to do a project or to increase our budget. And so for 10 years, we've reached out and made partnerships to do projects like, for example, the Ballot Health Academy, where our students are involved in a $15 million grant that came from Bloomberg Philanthropies through Ballot Health and through ETSU and TCAT of Elizabeth. And what that's allowing our students to do is to possibly finish their high school career and be right on the cusp of having an LPN license before they even spend the first dollar on their education. That's a job that puts them at $50,000 a year as a 19, 20-year-old student, adult. An AI and data science. We'll be one of 3 school systems in the state of Tennessee that have this grant allows us to be one of 3 school systems in the state of Tennessee that will provide this kind of opportunity on the cutting edge of data science to our students. And that's through a partnership with Niswanger and the University of Tennessee. The list goes on and on of the people that we partnered with that are supporting us. Bloomberg Philanthropy, I mentioned, Ballot Health, ETSU, TCAT, Kingsport YMCA. I'll be bringing that before you to share information. Frontier Health, Niswanger Foundation, SCORE Foundation out of Nashville. Those have been monies that we've received that allow us to do these things, and we've not came to our county commission and said, we need funding to do these. These are things that we went out and found the money to do. School safety, the Centegix alert system has increased our safety. SRO presence, there's nothing more valuable than having SRO coverage in a school, in my opinion. Got a car parked outside, we have an armed officer. Unfortunately, that's a necessity, but we have that in each of our schools. So I could go on and on, but I think at some point, we've reached out, and I'm going to continue. I've got other grants that we're going to be continuing to pursue. But at some point, I think the return on the investment that our commission and our county is receiving on our education system is pretty good, because it's built on your investment of trust in me to do the job at this point. I think at some point, I'm going to have to walk over here and say, I need an investment to match the work that we're doing to move forward. And so I don't know when that will be. It depends on what we continue to do. There are ways that we can continue to generate. Just as I said when we first started this whole conversation. There's a methodology where we can generate over $1 million in bonus TISA funding when our academics reach a certain level. There's other school systems right around us that got that this year. And I want our school system to get that. So that would be my answer without giving you a direct answer is I think we're open for business with partnerships and investments. I think at some point we're going to need an investment.
Thank you, that was my only question. Appreciate you.
Sorry to use such a lengthy answer.
Commissioner Harrison.
So, said that the new numbers, the new split came in, did it go up, down?
No, we went down, what, I think we're about 1%.
Oh, wow.
I think on the list, Kingsport went up a little bit more, Bristol actually went down a little bit, and then we lost that 1%. So it will be, excuse me, 0.1%. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Point. So it's, yeah.
So not as bad.
No.
Okay, good. So, looking at the pages you gave us, we talked about it a little bit yesterday. The one-page estimate saying basically $21 million at the end of this, but then the other page that you brought out shows 17. So let's go off worst case scenario being 17.5. The school system has to keep 3% back of the $100 million. Easy math says $3 million. So that takes it down to 14.5. The new numbers that we came up with Mr. Jones saying about the 150,000, basically it takes us to $12 million. It's 11.9. That's $1 million a month. I'm running at a 14-month wall. So I guess the question I have, or the concern that I have, is the math on that with the split is a 42-cent tax increase just to make the budget we're at now. So my concern, and I talked about it a little bit yesterday, but my concern is that we're accelerating towards that wall, increasing our request this year by over 2.2 million. And I'm very concerned because, as you said a while ago, the poverty rate, I have trouble with telling our taxpayers we're going to increase your taxes by 25% countywide. And I guess my question is, okay, if we can't, do you have a plan? Because that's a significant number, and about 14 months we're hitting the wall.
I think we're always going to try to do everything we can to get our budget to where it is presentable, but I can't try to even fathom how to run the county government, so I can't say what the county needs to do or should do or anything like that, but I will say that, as I stated in the question, Mr. Carr there, we've not asked for anything for close to 10 years. And so I think if we had have been getting that over 10 years, maybe we wouldn't be in this position. I don't know. I would have been here 30.
That's true, but also TISA funding increased it by 10.8 million. So there was increase. Maybe
There was an
in Sullivan
increase,
County, but
and
there's a
we
drastic
lost
increase.
money in that same scenario with the sales tax and property tax.
Like I say, I'm concerned that we're adding $700,000 in payroll in positions that weren't there this year. So $2.2 million overall, and so that hits us, like I say, it's $1 million a month, just to make it easy math, $1 million a month towards a wall that's 14 months away. And it doesn't sound like there's much of an option other than we're either going to have to do some drastic things or do a drastic increase. And I just think everybody needs to realize that. We're putting ourselves in incredibly bad shape with this.
Anyone else seek recognition? Commissioner Glover.
Mr. Carter, thank you for being here. During the process of the Finance Committee, you come in and give us updates every month and talk to us about programs. I agree with what Iris was saying, but you continue to lose kids every year. And it's nobody's fault that that's happening. But I look at this list. If you're losing kids every year, you keep adding on administrators. That's a $440,000 cost for administrators. Comes a point in time when you gotta say, hey, we just gotta do what we gotta do. keep losing the kids that you're losing, and the process keeps moving forward. I think we had that 5-year plan, and I think on that plan, the next 5 years, we're looking at right at anywhere, 150 to 200 kids a year.
That's basically been not Sullivan County, but across the state.
You start losing those many kids, and you're adding on $440,000 worth of expenditures with associate principals. That's a lot. And the question I've got, I might have missed it a minute ago. I still don't understand the loss of local revenue. You've got loss of local revenue of $280,000.
280 or? Yes, that's a estimate from the city-county split.
Okay? But that still don't, I mean, you're saying estimated from the county, city-county split. Is that because of the loss of students?
That would be because of loss of students, yes.
Okay, so there's 280,000 there, and then you've got 440,000 down here. When you add them two together, that's a pretty big loss.
Yes, sir.
And there comes a point in time when you got to step back and say, hey, we gotta adjust. And the support staff increases, 1.5% increase for the support staff. I understand that, but their insurance is going up 7 to 8%.
Which the difference there is it's not apples and apples. That term was used kind of earlier. That's a percent of what their insurance is, not 8% or 9.8% increase.
Yeah.
So it's not equal. It's not like you're losing 7.5% with a 1.5% raise. But you are right. It is an increase there.
Yep. So there's a chance they might be taking home less pay with an increase than they did this past year with their insurance increase. And that's a scary thought. You got a 1.5% raise, but because your insurance went up, you're going to take less home, less money home this year than you did the previous year. So that's a thought. But, I mean, I know you're doing the best that you can, and I know there's been a lot of good things going on, but these numbers are staggering. And I remember very well, you guys came in and talked to the county commission about the raise, and then we had that special call meeting on Monday morning after that, and we did say, hey, you're asking for this, you're going to have to sustain it. And looks like in 14, 15 months, it ain't going to be there. And I'm like Mark. I've got people in my area right now that can't pay their bills, can't buy their medicine, can't buy the food that they need, and it's disheartening. And you are right about the poverty level, but you're also right about the amount of money that homeowners or taxpayers are making. It's about $54,000 to $55,000 average, compared to 64, 65 in other places across the state. But I just want to point that out.
Thank you, and definitely will take that into consideration. I understand exactly your points. I do, and take that into consideration. Talk back to our board and our leadership. Thank you.
Commissioner Hopper.
Thank you. Tennessee has a ranking system regarding schools. They grade them and so forth across the state. I think, what do we have, 95 counties? Kind of where does Sullivan County size up in this system of grading? Where are we?
Our school system is improving constantly. We just were recognized in a national, it was conducted by through SCORE, but it was a national report through Harvard. It's called the Educational Scorecard, and Sullivan County was called out. The state of Tennessee is moving rapidly and ranks in the top 5 in improvement. Sullivan County was identified in that report as being one of the fastest improving counties in the state of Tennessee in math. We are currently, as a district C, I believe is our overall, we have schools that are ranked at the top in the A category, reward schools. We have schools that are in need of support. So we're but we're improving. Every school's improving.
Thank you.
Yes.
Commissioner Crosswhite.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Carter. I'd like to point out some positive things that's happening in this. Is the support staff, the 1.5 increase, they truly deserve that. We do need the extra SROs at these extra ones for like the alternative schools. I couldn't imagine we didn't have one there. But you know what impresses me most is the pre-K program. You know,
Schools.
this means, and Jessica and we serve on the health council, and I see these kids, and you've talked about it coming in, that they don't know how to cook. And they're not getting the support they need at home, so we need this preschool to stay, to be open all day, so that's my positive towards you, so thank you for what you do.
Commissioner Akers.
Fall on Ms. Crossman, I was going to mention something about pre-K. I think it's frustrating that it's an underfunded mandate. All my kids were able to go to one of the schools in Bristol, and it was a tremendous opportunity. So if we have any people in this room tonight that look forward to working in Nashville later, maybe y'all take that with you and such. But also, Mr. Carter, you know, we all have heartache. We have heartache. We've been pulling from our general fund. So you all aren't the only ones, you know. But as you said, your board's committed to the pay raises and all that. But and this is on us too. Your board and our commission need to be committed to living within our means of our revenues and such. And I do think it's going to be an interesting next 4 years. I mean, this commission's going to be overturned by 50%. And went to a lot of those sessions where people spoke, and every one of them pretty much said, no new taxes, you know? Because right now, that 12 million that's coming out of the fund balance to balance the budget, it's about a 17-cent just in that. But the way the school thing works, as Commissioner Iverson said, in reality, that's a 42-cent tax, you know? That's probably not going to happen. I mean, or people are going to break a lot of campaign promises, and our people can't afford it, you know. And so we're with you because we're going to have to look at cutting in order to balance our budget. So no, I think it's been the best relationship we've had. Since, I mean, really do appreciate you. You just got to take and run the force of it. But yes, I would highly recommend anyone going to Nashville. Let's get some funding for the pre-K, because that is so important for the young kids, and I know y'all know it.
To Mr. Akers' point, one thing that I haven't really talked about, during the year or two prior to COVID, and with the ESSER funds, and then Innovative School Model funds, and other funding, there have been capital projects, substantial projects, that were done way beyond ESSER even. And I have a list of all the schools that I would consider major capital projects were done. And again, this was without coming over here asking for any support for capital projects. You're talking about Bluff City Elementary, Emmett Elementary, Mary Hughes Elementary, Miller Perry Elementary, Holston Elementary, Central Heights Elementary, Indian Springs Elementary, Sullivan Central Middle, Sullivan Heights Middle, Sullivan East Middle, Westridge, and Sullivan East High School, and then still projects, but I just didn't put those in that same first list. They've had projects, but maybe not as substantial or as expensive as some of these others that Rock Springs, Sullivan Gardens, and Ketcher as well. So all of our schools have had capital projects that have been completed, and that can be anything from HVAC system. I know this year at Emmett and at Miller Perry, we had 2 emergency purchases that we had to do for HVAC systems to get those replaced, a boiler at Miller Perry and a chiller that hadn't been working in probably, Bill Burchett could give me, I don't want to over-exaggerate this, but I know for about 10 years had not been working. And it got to the point where the one system that was working was going to break down without the repair of the other one. So we've done projects out of this fund balance as well that were, in some cases, unexpected. In other cases, they were just necessary and improvements that have risen the level of our facilities without coming over here and asking for anything there again. And we have a long list. I shared that with you last year. We have potentially, on a strategic plan, close to $45 million worth of projects on HVAC, roofs, switch gears, things that eventually will have to be addressed. So, to Mr. Akers' point, we're going to have to figure out some things as we go forward.
Commissioner Means.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Dr. Carter. It's doctor, is it doctor?
No,
I was going to say, sorry, Mr. Carter.
It's really just Chuck.
Okay, yeah, Chuck, okay, sorry.
Mr. I don't like Mr.
Sorry about that. Okay, so the unfunded mandate for preschool, there's about 800,000 of that is grant funds. So that's about 1.4 million that is, if I read that correctly, in our budget that is going towards the pre-K program. So if 800 of that goes away, and that's what, 3 cents taxes, that property taxes?
Well,
Yeah. So unfunded state mandates are about the stupidest thing I have ever heard of. So,
It's hard.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're working on it though.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, you do.
Commissioner Vanover.
Mr. Carter, I want to congratulate you on your new contract. You get a new contract. Your school board has been very wise to do that. So, and I want to just tell everyone that everyone knows that we're not the only school system in this boat. Most school systems in the area are up against the wall, as well as throughout the state of Tennessee. But I know if anybody can guide us in the right direction, it's you. So glad you got that contract. I'm glad you're here, and I know we'll figure it out. So thank you.
We'll work together.
Recognize Commissioner King.
Thank you. There again, thank you for coming and presenting. I know that a lot of things that you're facing came about way years ago, and it's just now coming to a head. And I hate that you have to be right in the middle of when it did, but a lot of it's not your fault or the people on there now, but things were laid down several years ago, and then now it's come about. And you know, we're going to have to face it. We're going to have to do something to cure it. You know, and just like Commissioner Glover said, when you go to your taxpayers who are struggling, it's hard for them to say, yeah, I can give an extra on my taxes to help. But there again, we need good schools. That is a fine example of what Sullivan County is. You know, going back to the principal of Sullivan East, you can't hide my paper.
That's exactly right.
So, you know, that's part of it.
Yes, sir.
Then again, we've got to figure out how we're going to pay for it.
Yes, sir.
So, and who, you know, where are we going to get the money to do it? That's the whole thing. So, but I appreciate you coming and presenting this. What we're going to do is, we've got 2 resolutions, but we're going to have a special call meeting, June the 29th, at 6 o'clock, and then we'll vote on these, and we'll put these on first reading, and then we'll vote on that, and hopefully we can get a budget passed.
Thank you.
The sponsor, you're moving by him moving first reading, that cuts off the discussion on the resolutions.
Exactly.
So
I want to give people, a lot of people that saw this tonight, I want them to have a chance to.
So before you make the motion for first reading, it just makes
Well, I
it
can
clear.
do that. I can wait till, yeah, if they want to talk or questions, that'd be fine.
Recognize Commissioner Harvey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to thank you for the improvement on the test scores. So Sullivan County's done a really good job on that. I don't know if people are paying attention to that, but we certainly looked at that and want to congratulate you on that.
We're not done yet there either. So, thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else seek recognition? Commissioner King.
All right, now, on the two resolutions, them on the first reading, and the special call meeting be June the 29th at 6 o'clock. And that's a Monday.
It's Monday, June 29th, 6 o'clock, and pursuant to a TCA code. But if we have that published on our county website tomorrow, just given the time frame that we were given the budget, we are in compliance with posted the 10-day period. If we can have that posted on our website, and that will suffice the 10-day notice, because it's slow to get these in the paper. It takes a couple days to get these in the paper, but the 10-day public notice will satisfy that by posting it on our website. We read the code for that yesterday. Yeah. So our special called meeting will be here June 29th at 6 p.m. Monday, June 29th at 6 p.m. here in the Commission Room, where we'll have a special called meeting to discuss and adopt the two resolutions that Commissioner King just put on first reading. Okay. Thank you. That brings us to the end of our resolution calendar. Our next order is announcements. I just made one. Anyone seek recognition for announcements? Mr. Harvey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just want to make everyone aware that the Bristol, Tennessee City Council had a special call meeting this week on Tuesday, and they approved their budget, no tax increase. That included their school budget. They also had 52 applicants that they had looked at for their Bristol, Tennessee City Manager position, and they unanimously approved the attorney entering into contract negotiations with Matt Slagle. Congratulations to Matt.
Thank you. Anyone else seek recognition? Commissioner Glover.
Miss Harvey, you stole my congratulations point.
Don't you feel bad?
Don't you feel bad about that? I want to congratulate Matt Slagle for becoming the city manager of Bristol, Tennessee. I don't think the city could have made a better choice than Matt Slagle. He's sitting here with us for, what, about 3 years? And I'm going to tell you something about him. If he tells you that's the way it is, that's the way it is. And he don't waver, and he don't BS you. So I'm excited for the city of Bristol. I think the citizens of the city of Bristol is going to be in for a great future for them, and give him a chance, and I guarantee he'll make a difference. So, Slagle, I don't know if you listen or not. You always saw a cold beer, and appreciate you a lot for what you do, son. See you.
Very nice, Commissioner King.
Little update on Larry Bailey. He is home. He's complaining though, because he's downstairs in the living room. He said it looks like a hospital room, and he wants to go upstairs to sleep, but they won't let him go upstairs. So he's complaining about that. But other than that, I think he's doing well, and he sounds good on the phone, and he was wanting to come tonight, but I don't think Elle would let him. So anyway, he's improving. So just remember Larry in our prayers, and hopefully he can get better and get back here. So I know Leslie's missing him, so that's putting a lot of pressure on Leslie. So, but she's a fine, fast girl. She can handle it.
Yeah. Commissioner Aker.
Yeah, I follow up on Dwight because I want to say the same thing, and I just want to follow up and say thank you to Leslie for hanging in there with all of us last few weeks. I know, she and Larry have been, well, they've been together all since I've been here, and really appreciate it. And I know it's been
hasn't been most ideal for you, but thank you for hanging in there, and we'll get through all this.
Commissioner Carr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just want to wish everyone a very happy Juneteenth tomorrow.
Commissioner Crosswhite.
Thank you, Chairman. I want to mention the 250 celebration. We did have a tea at Rocky Mount. I wish y'all could have been there. We had a George Washington drop by. I won't tell you who, but I think he'll be our next mayor. We have Betsy Ross giving the flag, but our next meeting is scheduled for July the 23rd. And if you have any suggestions on what we should do, I would love to have them. This committee has worked so well together. It has come together, all of Sullivan County. And the next thing at Rocky Mount, they will be having summer camp starting June the 16th through the 19th and the 23rd through the 26th. So if you have any kids that would like to send them to camp, have a good time to do it. So 250 is strong. Thank you.
Commissioner Jones.
Don't forget the Liberty Celebration, the 26th at 7 p.m., Saturday the 27th at 2 o'clock at the Eastman Employee Center. Tickets are available through the Kingsport Chamber and at the Eastman Employee Center. I don't think there's going to be tickets available the time of the event. So if you want to come, you need to go get them this week. Thank you.
Commissioner Jones, are sponsorship still available? Sponsorship opportunity still available for that?
No.
Okay.
Those were due the first of this month.
Commissioner Means.
Commissioner Crosswhite, this event that you're talking about at the end of July, is this something that, say, George Washington could come to?
We can talk you into it. Okay. I don't know if he still has the album.
Commissioner Glover.
You guys notice our county attorney's not here tonight? He's on vacation, but he said if we need him, we need to call him, so you guys want to call him? I think we need a book out of his office. He's always going there getting books.
We have a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Hey, Jim, give me a call.